Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile 1 discussion. Welcome to day 8 of Teasers season for patch 3.27 and the Keepers of the Flame expansion. Today, you'll notice that my face is in a slightly different position. That is very, very deliberate. Today, we're going to be talking about game balance hints, because although this is being posted as a teaser about quality of life changes, this video that Grinding Gear Games put out that I'm just showing a single screenshot of here, this is hinting at some pretty substantial game balance changes. Now, let's have a quick look at what is in this video. Starting with the fact that this player, if you have a look in the bottom right corner of the screen, they have something like 60% of their mana reserved. Don't know that it's exactly 60%, but it's that sort of ballpark. Now, if you have a look in the top left corner, you'll see only one buff icon, and it is a buff for Raise Spectre. What people are speculating here is that Spectres are being changed to have something like 20, 21, 22% mana reservation, or maybe 25 or 30% mana reservation, and this player has something that is partially mitigating this. And this is Editing Gog here clarifying that this is after all of the support gems are factored in that this player is electing to use on their Raise Spectre gem, so it might be a lower reservation before that. And then at the same time, the mechanics of Spectres are being changed substantially. The reason that we think it's this and not something else is that there are no other buff icons in the top left corner hiding underneath the name of the video. So you can see there that we've just got the Spectre buff. It might be a bit clearer on my screen than it is on yours, but there are absolutely definitely no buffs there for things like Determination, no buff icons for things like Herald of Ash or Arctic Armor that would otherwise explain all of this mana being tied up. The speculation here is that there is a very, very, very substantial Spectre rework that is happening at the same time as Grinding Gear Games are talking about the quality of life aspect of this change. In Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame, souls of your fallen Spectres will now linger with you when they die, and upon entering a new area, they will resume their normal spectral form. This includes special Spectres that come from itemized corpses. Now, this is going to mean that if you are a net consumer of those special corpses, you are going to be very happy with this. If you are a net producer of them, i.e. someone that engages with the ritual mechanic, you're going to be unhappy with this change because it's going to mean there'll be less demand for them. You won't have as many repeat customers. And if supply stays the same and demand decreases, the value of those Spectres is going to go down. Ultimately, for solo self-found players, this is unconditionally a buff. For Trade League players, this is going to be either a nerf or a buff, depending upon the content you're engaged in. The other thing you'll notice is that when this player does exit out of this zone, those Spectres are going to resummon, as you'll see right now. It's going to drop a portal. You'll see there's a couple of Spectres, and then they come out here, and those Spectres are back to their normal selves. One other thing that's mentioned in this video is that if you use existing Desecrate mechanics, you can revive Spectres within the same zone still, and if you summon a new Spectre, you will completely overwrite and lose forever one of the Spectres that you've already got. Anyways, there's a lot of hints that there's a more thoroughgoing rework of minions in general that's taking place here. Raise Spectre is one of those gems that's caused a number of problems for Grinding Gear Games over the years, partly because it's been something that's been mandatory to use on minion builds, and as a result, minion builds have been pre-nerfed for the assumption that players are using Spectres, not Spectres that are necessarily combat minions themselves, but Spectres that provide buffs to the rest of your minions. This is why there was a substantial nerf that took place a while ago to charges that were found on player minions. If you could give your minions frenzy charges, if you could give them power charges, they were getting tremendous buffs from those, and as a result, every minion player did it, and Grinding Gear Games kept nerfing minions accordingly. Eventually they changed that mechanic, but ultimately Raise Spectre is one of those things that provides a lot of just really esoteric ways to boost minion builds, and they're so good that players are expected to do it in order to do cutting edge content. It's possible we're going to see a substantial overhaul where Spectres will become something that you spec into because you like Spectres, rather than because all minion players are expected to have them, and as a result, minion players are balanced around the expectation that you've got Spectres. But all of that comes down to the questions of game balance. There's going to be a lot about game balance that's going to be revealed when we get the patch notes. The main livestream reveal is less than 2 days away, and it's pretty common, but not absolutely always the case, that we get the full patch notes at that point. So here are my plans for livestream day. I'm going to be rebroadcasting it on both Twitch and YouTube via multi-stream. However, my primary attention is going to be focused on Twitch. The reason for this is not that I particularly like Twitch, I prefer streaming to YouTube in general, but Grinding Games are running a Twitch exclusive MTX promotion, and as a result, you probably want to be watching it over on Twitch rather than on YouTube. However, ultimately, it's your choice, and I know a bunch of people just don't like spiders, so if you're in that situation that you'd never use that MTX, then, of course, you're probably going to watch it on YouTube instead. So, I'm going to live broadcast my first reactions. That's going to be one of those unedited, messy videos. After that, my next plan is to put out a much more condensed summary. That may take some time, and that'll come out the same day as the live stream reveal from Grinding Games. After that, I then want to dig deep into the patch notes, but that's not likely to be on the same day. That's likely to be over the next weekend. That's going to be in place of the normal teaser season video on day 10. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you've missed any of my previous teaser season coverage, I will put a playlist on the top left corner of the screen at the moment. Otherwise, may your Varlorbs have interesting results, and I will see you my Friday, your Thursday, quite possibly, for the day 10 live stream reveal. As well as that, I'll probably see you tomorrow when there'll be a smaller teaser.